Hello, Vankahs.
What's up, Vankahs?
How do you say
bonjour?
Bonjour, Vankahs.
Bonjour, Vankahs.
Yes, Vankahs. It's your three favorite Vankahs coming to you live from not Canada. But we're talking all things Canadian GP. This was quite an eventful weekend, wasn't it, Guenther?
Yes, a lot of events, especially having you two around was very eventful, It's never boring. Brian wearing his nice jacket from the 90s or whenever it was from, 2000s.
Yeah, I was rocking an old school jacket. You told us that we didn't look nice enough to be in the paddock.
Yeah,
you weren't nice at all about it on the day. You said, you're in the paddock. Back in the day, there were standards. That was what you said.
Yeah, back in the day, obviously they dropped you two coming in, So.
Yeah, Bernie Ecclestone would have never let us in his paddock.
Yes.
There was a guy called Pasquale Latunedu, which would have got you two by your ears out of the paddock. Give me your pass back, Yeah.
Well, hopefully we didn't embarrass you too much.
It takes more than that.
Oh, this is the jacket, by the way. Look at this thing. This thing rocks. It's old school. Benetton from the Schumacher days. Guenther said that I would have been thrown out of the paddock wearing this.
What did Flavio say when he saw that jacket?
We didn't, you know what? Flavio just kind of walked by like a zombie at one point, and we didn't show him the.
Did you not show him? Yeah, look, I've got your jacket.
Jacket. Oh, I don't remember what that is. Well, anyway, we've got so much to cover in this episode. Obviously, we're going to cover the crash, Papaya rules, George Russell, Kimi Antonelli, what's going on over at Mercedes, Fred Vasseur's job in jeopardy, the F1 movie. There's so much to cover on this episode of Vankah Hours, brought to you by BetMGM. Look how beautiful that is. But first, before we get there, let's chew the music.
No Fox smash, my God. I'm done the fucking Steiner and I'm back for more. No Fox smash, my dog. I've got the fucking Steiner and it's time for
And we're back. Okay, Guenther, I think we got to start with this crash. We got to start with Lando Norris running into Oscar Piastri. We knew it was going to happen at some point. It happened in Canada. Guenther, you had some strong words on Canal Plus about this. Tell us what you're thinking about this crash.
It's not on. I mean, I think it was a proper mistake, and Lando said it was a mistake, but you cannot make mistakes like this if you want to win a world championship. And therefore, I guess he will not be winning the world championship. It's like, and that I rate Lando very highly, but in these situations, he just loses his head, all the time.
There's 14 races left, Guenther. He's only down 22 points. You're already ruling him out?
Yes. I ruled him out from the beginning.
Yeah. It's over. Stop the count. It's over.
Yeah.
The hearts of Lando fans breaking across the nation.
But better to accept it now.
What?
He breaks their hearts. Guenther's,
exactly.
He's breaking their hearts. Guenther's not doing anything.
I'm just a messenger here, I'm not a culprit,
But you took it a step further on Canal Plus, Guenther. You took it a step further. You said that McLaren needs to step in and say, Lando, it's done. You're done. Dreams are over. You're going to take a back seat.
Yeah, I think they will do that also, but maybe not publicly, but at some stage, because what it is, as we could see, the McLaren was not the dominating car here anymore. So you need to start to be careful who is coming, and you need to think about everything. Obviously, they've got a very good advantage, I know, in the constructors, but it's, last year, also, Red Bull was leading, McLaren was coming, so they need to be careful. But not only that, the damage done like this, I mean, they were lucky that he didn't take Oscar out, because in a normal circumstance, you've got a flat tire. That's what it is. I mean, I don't know how this didn't happen, that he got a flat tire. Maybe because you two guys were with Pirelli and you helped Pirelli to make the tires stronger.
Well, those tires are strong. Those tires are well made.
But not too strong. Not too strong. They were just the right. They were just the right consistency to have a few strategy variances. But we'll get to that later.
Exactly. No. But for me, it's also the money. It's not about the money because everybody's working under the budget cap, so the money is spent anyway. But where you spend the money now comes in. It's no point to spend it on things like this if you need every dime you've got to develop next year's car. Because this, again, takes away budget for the development, nothing else. Because it's basically wasted for no good reason.
So I see. So what you're saying is that if you're Zach Brown right now, you're going to Lando Norris and you're saying, hey, you're number 2. We're prioritizing Oscar, and we'll see you next year?
I think I wouldn't be this direct at this moment, but I will go the direction and saying, hey, Lando, if you're not cleaning your act up in the next 3 races, if it doesn't get that you're not in a lead or something happens to Oscar after the summer break when we come back, you will be number 2. I think Lando doesn't need to be told that. I think he understands that now after this mistake because he admitted the mistake. It's just like, Oscar has got the upper hand in the moment. You can do whatever you want,
So I guess there's a few things here. I'm going to try to push back a little bit here. Let's start here, though. You think that the performance from McLaren in Canada was not an outlier? You think that maybe this dominance, their gap to the rest of the field is shrinking? You don't think that Canada was an outlier?
What I think in the moment, because it's so close together, you never know in the race going in who is going to be in front. It depends also on your form on a specific racetrack, how the setup goes. But there is not like, in the beginning of the year, I was pretty sure McLaren will carry that advantage properly. And if they don't make mistakes, they will win. You can always make a mistake, as we saw. They make quite a few, But I think what I've seen from Mercedes on this racetrack, they were well ahead of the McLarens. They didn't have a chance against a Mercedes. It wasn't a strategy or nothing. It was a performance. I'm not saying that it's broken, but it's not as dominant as it seemed to be.
But George was strong here last year. Isn't it a temperature thing? Like, yeah, when it's cool, they're good, but it's not going to be cool like this. They're not going to be in Canada or wherever every race.
Yeah, we're coming into the summer. We're coming into the summer break here. We're coming into these hot races. We're going to go to the Middle East. It's not these tracks won't always suit the Mercedes. I guess I'm just thinking. Let's pretend and let's think of that. What if the McLaren advantage hasn't gone away? This was an outlier, and they do have that advantage. Would you still be saying no? Oscar first, Lando second. This is just what it is. If there's really not a chance that one of these teams can catch up, or would you let them fight?
No, I would consider it now after what happened in Canada seriously to tell them, because it's the last thing you need out there. The two guys, as I said, they were so lucky not to have lost both cars in this accident. Because it's, as I said, it's not only about the performance. You don't do this as a race team, as two teammates, not as a race team, as two teammates. It's just like, yeah, you can make a mistake, but, there was quite a few now. So at some stage and maybe that makes him better, taking the pressure away, That could help as well. You never know, taking the pressure away that he doesn't have to win.
Yeah, we try anything at this point. Maybe demote him. Maybe put him in F2.
Yeah.
And maybe anything. Let's try something.
But wait, what do you say about the fact that during that race, Lando actually had better race pace than Oscar? I mean, up until that moment, obviously a huge mistake, but up until that moment, Lando had a better race, did he not?
Yeah, but then you need to be able also to overtake without making a mistake. I mean, it's like, exactly.
True.
A miss is as good as a mile.
Yeah,
as they say.
In that, if you have got better race pace, you are patient and you get him because the race pace will not go away, So you wait until your moment comes, and that's why I say there is something. There's always this little mistake in with Lando, and that I respect his driving. He's fast, as you can see. He's got good race pace, but then when it gets to it, there is a mistake.
What do you think that is, Guenther? What's wrong? Diagnose Lando Norris.
if I would know exactly, I think Zach Brown would be on the telephone to me, and wouldn't let me off until I tell him. I don't know what it is, and I don't know him this well to be able to analyze what it is. I mean, I think it's just the pressure which gets to him. I mean, this maneuver on Sunday was just like he was under pressure. He wanted to overtake instead of, if it isn't happening this lap, it's happening next lap, because, as you say, he was faster at that point in the race, and you have to, and he got him almost before, but he didn't. So you just try again. You regroup with yourself and then go again. But you're not trying to go through somewhere where, if you had a motorbike, it would have been tight to get through, so never mind the car.
Yeah. Can you think of another example like this where a potentially faster driver is just losing to his more composed, maybe slightly less quick, like on his best day, but more consistent teammate? Is this reminiscent of anything? Maybe Senna Prost? Because Prost was a lot more consistent than Senna. Senna was more winner bin, that sort of thing. Is it sort of reminding you of that a little bit?
Yeah, I mean, that's a good comparison. I mean, they were fighting as well at the same level. Two very good drivers in the same car. And it's just like one was always calculating, and knew what he was doing, while the other one sometimes lost his focus.
Look what I did there. I compared Lando to Senna. I think
that's a good comparison. I like that.
I think it's pretty good.
I just
nice
think you
of me.
guys are writing him. I mean, it's got 14 races left, Guenther. Listen, I know the kid's mistake prone, but he's 22 points behind. We've seen that this Mercedes engine unit can crap out at any time. I just think, oh my God, I know that everyone wants to write him off, but we got a lot of season left. Come on.
So normality, how many mistakes did he do in 10 races?
He's made a few.
So in 14 races, he will make more.
That's
when someone shows you who they are, believe them. That's what Guenther says.
The math actually is mathing there, but
the math is going against you.
The math is going against me, and I think that I'm not counting him out just yet. You two are ready to absolutely throw dirt all over his grave. I'm not ready to do it yet.
Well, Guenther, you know what? I'm going to bring this up. Guenther, you're just mad that you put all your hope into Lando Norris last year and he burned you. You're a scorned lover. You're a scorned lover. You were so bullish on Lando Norris last year. You thought he was in it and he threw it away. Him and McLaren
I
threw
learned
it away.
a lesson.
I
learned a lesson last year.
Yes.
Don't trust this guy.
You want to talk penalty for him?
Yeah, let's talk penalty a little bit. There's a lot of discussion around whether Lando should have gotten penalty points on his license for running into Oscar. A lot of the Max Verstappen camp is saying if that had been Max, he would have gotten penalty points. People are saying it's British bias. What is your thoughts on Lando Norris not receiving any penalty points for running into Oscar?
I wouldn't give them penalty points for this one. I mean, I'm with the stewards here. I mean, as much as I dislike to agree with the stewards, to be honest, as much. But, the only one damaged was him. I know that the consequence you don't put in the penalty, but right. You do, But I'm told this time, the consequence has no effect on the penalty, but it does. So,
yeah. I think they were scared to give him a 10-second penalty on top of all that, put points on his license. Do you think that that's true? I want to broaden this. Because a lot of it's coming from Max's camp. Oh, if Max had done this, he would have gotten, the death penalty, right? The people saying, if it was Max that was braking behind the safety car with George, he would have gotten 1 million penalty points. I guess my question is, am I crazy or has Max gotten away with a lot?
Yeah, no, he's got away with a lot. And what I would say on the stewards, Gert Enzer was the chief steward. In my opinion, he's the best steward. He's the guy with the most rational guy. I had fallouts with him as well, like with every steward, in my life. But anyway, I think Gert Enzer is the best and the most rational about things. He knows his regulations very well. I mean, he's a judge in real life, so he knows the responsibility of giving penalty, of giving sentences and penalties. Basically, it's the same thing, in two different places. But
Sure.
so I think it was okay what he got. He damaged himself enough, because now we're just spreading the message that he should be number 2 in the team. So.
And I think after 2021, I think Max Verstappen fans should never complain about anything the FIA ever does. I think they just have to be silent for the
Yeah.
I don't care if he gets suspended I don't care if they give him a 3-race ban. I think he's still ahead of the game.
Yeah, I think that kind of trumps everything
by being given a world championship.
By being handed one. Yeah, by being
all right.
handed.
Yeah.
Vankahs, this episode is brought to you by BetMGM. Come see what's new at BetMGM. Score bigger when you win with boost tokens, odd boost tokens, and more. Even if your bet doesn't hit, we've got you covered with no sweat tokens. Sign up with BetMGM today and you'll have access to countless betting options, including new look, same game parlays, teasers, live bets, and so much more. Take advantage of these offerings and be sure to use the bonus code DADDY when signing up to receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. This is an exciting season. Oscar Piastri, Lando Norris, who's going to finish? Who's going to win each race? Where's Yuki Tsunoda going to wind up? You can bet on all this with BetMGM, so do it today. Use the bonus code DADDY when signing up, and again, receive up to $1,500 in bonus bets if your first bet loses. See you out there, Vegas.
Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER. Available in the U.S. Call 877-8-HOPE-NY or text HOPE-NY 467-369 for New York. Call 1-800-327-5050 for Massachusetts. 21 and over only. Please gamble responsibly. Call 1-800-NEXT-STEP for Arizona. 1-800-BETS-OFF for Iowa. 1-800-981-0023 for Puerto Rico. First bet offer for new customers only. Subject to eligibility requirements. Bonus bets are non-withdrawable. In partnership with Kansas Crossing Casino and Hotel. See BetMGM.com for terms. U.S. promotional offers not available in New York, Nevada, Ontario, or Puerto Rico.
All right, let's move on to Mercedes-Benz. Let's move on to George Russell, Kimi Antonelli. George Russell with a dominant victory, was in control the entire time. Kimi Antonelli overtakes Oscar Piastri on lap 1. Anyway, and holds that position and takes his first podium. I guess, okay, Guenther, we have a thought here. All the attention is on Kimi Antonelli in this podium, despite the fact that George Russell won the race. Do you think that this is another example of George Russell being overlooked for this young phenom?
No, I mean, it's obviously, when an 18-year-old goes the first time on the podium, who should get the attention? I think, George was on the podium before, so I think Kimi deserves, and he looks like 16. He's 18, but he looks like 16, so you've got this boy up there in this big car, fast car. This is magic, and he's such a nice guy, he was on the flight back, on the same flight back as me, he's not flying private yet. That will come, But
we saw him when he walked into. He had the little Netflix documentary that WhatsApp made, and we went to the premiere of that in Miami, and he walked in like a rock star. He walked in with like matching top and pants. He was wearing green sunglasses. I was like, uh-oh. Yeah. Give this kid a couple years, and this young Italian stallion is about to be a problem.
So he was flying coach with you, Guenther?
No, not coach. No,
in store, underneath, with the baggage.
The baggage. Yeah, we were together. He was in one back, and I was in that one beside him. Yeah.
But okay, let's talk a little bit about Kimi. Yeah. What is, there's a lot of hype around this kid. He's supposed to be the next coming, sure, the Pope is from Chicago, but there's an Italian driver who might be the next go to Formula One. What does this performance from him say to you about those prospects?
Yeah, let's get to the Pope first. Normally, the Pope is also an Italian, but because now Kimi Antonelli is coming, we had to divide a little bit, give something to the US as well. Give the US the Pope, and to Italy, Kimi Antonelli,
Yeah, that's right.
Logan Sargent didn't work out, so we get the Pope.
Yeah, you get Leo. Yeah, you get Leo. Yeah. So what was the question?
You got so excited by your Pope joke. Just what is, there's a ton of hype around this kid. He gets his first podium. He's 18 years old. The only other people to do that at that same age, Max Verstappen and the GOAT, Lance Stroll. So what does this say about Kimi Antonelli?
Which direction is he trending towards?
Which trajectory is he going? Is he the next Max Verstappen, or is he going to turn into a Lance Stroll?
Tendency Max Verstappen, if he gets there, gets there or not, we don't know yet. But all the publicity, obviously, with Mercedes supporting him since he's 11 years old, it's something which you cannot avoid. I mean, also Toto mentioning Kimi Antonelli, every second sentence is Kimi Antonelli. Is so obviously they've got a lot of trust in him, and he's good. But to be as good as Max, Max you don't get every year. But it could be that he's as good as, but give him a few years and we will know. Because when Max came in, he was good, but he was not super Max he's now. So, but I think he's got the chance to be there, Kimi.
I guess the big question right now is I think the race pace seems like it's getting there. I mean, he was keeping Oscar behind him. He was keeping up with George on race pace. I guess the question is if he could just, how long are you giving him to match George's qualifying pace?
I think you've got a short memory. He matched it already once when he was in pole position this year.
One time.
Yeah, one time.
He did. It's been 10 races.
It's
pole
his
is
first
cool.
season. It's his first season. Give him a little bit of time. You impatient human being.
Well, okay. I guess here's where this is coming from. We see George Russell as being a top talent in this sport.
Yeah, he is.
I mean, I guess the question that I have is if Kimi turns into George Russell and they get rid of George Russell in favor of Kimi Antonelli, whose ceiling is similar to George Russell, are we throwing out the baby with the bathwater?
Let me ask it another way. They might be looking for the next Max Verstappen, but I guess maybe the argument is they already have one.
Not quite a Max Verstappen, but George Russell. This was an impressive. He's had a great.
There is only one Max Verstappen. There is only one Max Verstappen.
Of course. Yeah. But let's talk about George Russell. George Russell's had an amazing year.
But why you
arguably
say
the
they
second
throw him
best
out?
driver on the grid right now.
If you come to the conclusion that they throw him out of Mercedes,
it feels like you just said it yourself. What is Toto? What is the only thing that Toto ever talks about?
Kimi Antonelli. Yeah.
Well, I mean, it just seems like that's where all the attention is,
story.
Is it not?
Yeah, but it's an easy, so people tell an easy story because it is the story. George Russell is there since years. You cannot always we talked about George Russell 5 years ago. He's now, part of the furniture, he's just like, yeah.
Right, which we think is maybe unfair that he should be considered rated more highly, that this more of the story should be on George Russell. It's his first time leading the team.
So Toto should talk more about George Russell.
I think so. Do you not? At a certain point, don't you think George
Russell wins?
Don't you think at a certain point George is going to be felt like they don't
left
care about me here?
Left out.
Yeah.
Yeah, but then he can make a move and go somewhere else,
Right.
It's if he can find something where if there is a seat somewhere which he wants. Because I in the moment I would pretty happily stay at Mercedes if I would be George Russell.
I think he's pretty happy there. I guess maybe part of it is coming from, Toto was targeting Max. You can't blame him. But who is going to get replaced if he was bringing in Max? It wouldn't be Kimi.
No.
Right? It was going to be George. So he can't get Max. He's stuck with George. He's talking about Kimi all the time. And, we had Jacques Villeneuve on the podcast, and he was saying, you can feel it when the energy starts to leave you, when the attention starts to, it has an effect, right? Even if it's just psychological, if you feel like the attention isn't with you.
Daniel Ricciardo like Daniel Ricciardo leaving Red Bull, it's been chaos in that seat ever since he left. He felt that he saw the writing on the wall. Max Verstappen's the guy, and the energy of the garage went towards him. So he left, and then that second seat's been an absolute nightmare and chaos since then.
But also, the situation, George is in negotiation about his contract.
Yes.
Never forget that. Who is the best deal maker in there? Toto Wolff, So if he keeps on mentioning George Russell, how great he is, a
little negotiation tactic.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, maybe not a tactic. Just don't hand him anything, which he can use against you to get more money.
Do you think that drivers drive better in their contract years? There's a big discussion in basketball and some of these other professional sports that when it's coming up on a contract year, all of a sudden you see guys dropping 25 when normally they're dropping 18. You see them hitting extra, more home runs, that their performance steps up a notch. If George is in a contract year, do you think that maybe you're seeing him be that much better because of that pressure?
I think, like we all are, if something is at stake, you get that little extra to show who you are, you know. I think it happens. How to say, to quantify it, very difficult to quantify, but for sure, if you're in this situation, you want to show that you're worth everything what you're asking for, you know, because and the best way to prove it is the result. I mean, we all know that, you know. So I think that happens, because if you've got a 5-year contract, yeah, you put effort in, but you say, yeah, I put 100%, or I put 99% in, but not 100, because I'm all right anyway. But it's a human being. We all get a little bit complacent when we are in a comfort zone.
All right, I want to talk a little bit about this, you know, post-race, under the safety car moment that happened. Basically, under the safety car, George slowed down. Max overtook during the safety car. Then Red Bull protested, said that George slowed down intentionally. They went to the stewards. Afterwards, Toto was saying it was petty, that they're just trying to do petty stuff here. Obviously, there's tension between Max and George. What did you make of this whole post-race gameplay between the two of them?
I think it was petty, because I don't think it was a game from George's, you know, under safety car, the 10 car lengths, and you know, I don't think he was. I just saw the video. He wasn't brake testing him because he was not behind him, you know. Obviously, Max then overshot and went past him, but it wasn't a brake testing. So, you know, if you look at the sport in general, to put this one in after the race and then they have to wait to confirm the results is quite, you know, for what it is, it's under safety car. It's not something, there was never a danger or anything, in my opinion. That's my opinion, you know. Obviously, I didn't see all the data, but, you know, is it right? Maybe not, but, you know, if they would have given a penalty for this and the race result would have changed, that would have been pretty bad for the sport, in my opinion. And therefore, sometimes you avoid to do these things, you know.
Do you think there should be some sort of gentleman's agreement or unwritten rule that you shouldn't protest petty shit like this?
There is always, you know, we always try to have in any sport gentleman rules, gentleman agreements. They just don't work because there are no gentlemen, you know. Yeah. So, yeah. If there would be gentlemen, they would work. But without gentlemen, how should a gentleman agreement work?
You don't call yourself a gentleman? You don't think you would abide by the gentleman's rules?
No, I would take every advantage. I would play everything I could just to get the result, you know. Okay. And then obviously, I think Red Bull tried to play it, and now they're told it was petty, you know. Obviously, they don't care about that because they tried something and it didn't work. But if they wouldn't try, they maybe internally would be, why didn't you try to do this? You know, so it's always the same old story. There's so
there's no gentleman, but you're insistent that we dress like gentlemen. So you dress like a gentleman, though you're not a gentleman.
I don't
dress
like a gentleman.
And when we just show up as the non-gentleman that we are, you're triggered because we're dressing how you actually are.
You didn't. Yeah. I didn't ask you to dress like a gentleman with a suit and tie. I just tried to tell you, don't dress like a, what you call it, people, you know, like a...
hip, cool, awesome, downtown, fucking badass bros?
No, it was more like, you know, where did you find this jacket, you know? I know your body.
This is a Formula One jacket. There were in the 90s. There were people walking around with this fucking jacket.
It's like $350 in the 90s. This jacket.
In the 90s,
this is the jacket of a world champion.
Vintage. This is $300-something.
Michael Schumacher wore this jacket. So you're saying it's not good enough? Michael Schumacher wore it, but we can't? I don't understand.
In the 90s, you forget it was 30 years ago or more than 30
vintage,
years ago.
It's
vintage. That makes it even better.
Cool.
Yeah, no. So if any of who is listening wants to buy this jacket, please make an offer.
Yeah,
but it needs to be above $300.
Starting bid is $1,000. It's a nice jacket. Okay.
Because Brian wore it. I always get confused who wore it. Matt bought it, Brian wore it, yeah.
Vankahs, this episode is brought to you by Long Drink. Long Drink is a refreshing citrus soda with a premium liquor kick. Unlike the seltzers made with fermented sugar, it is a true award-winning liquor that is smooth, refreshing, and doesn't leave you with that full beer feeling the last sip. It's as good as the first. Long Drink is a citrus soda made with real liquor. It's not like these other, you know what I'm talking about. Everyone's drinking them, but then you still get that full beer feeling, not with Long Drink. Long Drink, it's gluten-free, all natural, super refreshing. And get this, Miles Teller, Kygo, and Ricky Fowler are investors. Miles Teller, you mean Rooster? Rooster! You gotta drink it. I've literally been having Long Drink nonstop. It's become my new favorite drink, especially on a nice summer day. We're entering summer, and you need your Long Drink. So you can pick up some Long Drink today at a store near you. Happy drinking, Vankahs. Vankahs, summer is here, which means it's officially time to let the dogs out, baby.
Who let the dogs out?
Who. Yeah, we got, over here at Vankah Hours, we're a couple boys with some thick thighs. And
even when it's clear outside, there's thunder.
That's
around.
Right, baby.
Even in a beautiful beach, there's always thunder around.
We bring the thunder, and we're chubby in the right places,
That's
baby.
right.
We got that. My girlfriend is so jealous of my fat little ass, and chubbies are the perfect shorts for this type of thing and this type of year. They got the original stretch shorts, which live on your legs. They make your legs look juicy in the way that they already are. I've been rocking them. When I rock them, people say, who's that guy? He's looking fresh. He looks like he's a good time. And us over here at Vankah Hours, we're good times.
Yeah.
We're good times, and Chubbies is the perfect clothing brand to make those good times roll. So don't you wait. Because for a very limited time, shop Chubby's biggest sale of the year for $45 shorts and up to 65% off select gear. Hit up chubbyshorts.com and grab your favorites before they're gone. Miss the sale? Don't sweat it. Use our discount code VANKAH, VANKAH, for 20% off. Support the show. Let them know that we sent you when the survey asks, and get ready to turn some heads. Summer's here. Dress like it in Chubby's, baby. Let the thunder come in.
Thunder. Na, 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 thunder.
Let's talk about the gentleman that is Fred Vasseur. Obviously, there's a lot
It's
of
Vasseur,
talk.
not Vasseur.
Vasseur.
Don't change the subject. We're getting to whether if he's in the hot seat.
We're
No
talking-
one's going to care about his name if he's out the sport, okay?
You will have no name any.
That's right. Your
It'll be
buddy.
Fred who?
Your buddy, your old competitor, Fred Vasseur.
Vasseur.
There's a lot of talk about him potentially being fired. The Italian press is coming in hot, calling for his head. He had some spicy words for them, calling out the Italian press, saying that you are making things worse. If you want Ferrari to be better, you're not helping. There's a lot of talk about Ferrari's impulsiveness with firing the wrong person, scapegoating people. The question is, Guenther, is Fred Vasseur the next scapegoat for the Ferrari organization, or does he need to go?
If we look at history, I think we can see he would be the next scapegoat, Mm-hmm. So it's like, and I don't know, the press reported this, I think, end of last week. So I don't know how true this story is, if it is true, but for sure he's under pressure. I mean, it's Ferrari. If you don't win in 3 years, they put the pressure onto you. I don't know how serious it is that they want to get rid of him. I have no idea about that one. But I think, now they are not second anymore. But when this was written about Fred, they were still second in the World Championship. Yeah, it's not perfect because perfect is number one. I know that. So, but it's not really bad. I wouldn't say it is good. I'm not saying it's really good, so before Matt starts to speak about it, that I'm defending my buddy, Fred Vasseur.
I got something else. I got something else for
Go
you,
ahead.
Guenther.
Go ahead.
I got a role-playing game, okay?
Okay.
All right, I'm calling you. Bling, bling, bling. Bling, answer the phone. Calling.
Hello, Brian or Matt? Oh, it's Matt.
No, this is John Elkan, actually,
Okay,
speaking.
John, Brian, Brad. No, you confuse me even more. Yeah, okay.
Hey, it's John Elkan. Hey, Guenther,
John.
I'm wondering, it's not working out with Fred. I'm going to give you a couple $1 million and I'm going to let you be the team principal of Ferrari. What do you say?
A couple is not enough.
We're already in.
Okay, he's already negotiating with me.
Yeah, exactly. That is the first thing we need to do before otherwise.
Okay. I'll give you
7 figures.
high 7 figures. 4 million, 5 million.
Whatever.
That's
I cannot hear you anymore, John. I cannot hear you, John. Where are you?
Wait. I'm not negotiating against myself. You got to throw out another number.
Well, the red flags pay him a lot of money, so
yeah, he's like, yeah.
Exactly.
I get.
John,
but you don't. It's Ferrari, Guenther. Wouldn't you be honored? You're Italian.
I'm honored to be with Brian and Matt. Because they wear cool jackets from the 90s.
Yeah.
right.
So yeah. Yeah, John. I see you on the next race. When are you coming to the next race, John? We can have a talk about it. Thanks, John.
You're gonna hang up on you.
Oh wow!
You
so
just
you don't want
the
Guenther,
job.
This is the
You
question.
don't want the job.
If you got called today, would you take that job?
No, not really. No.
Why not? Why not, Guenther?
Look what Fred has to deal with after 2.5 years.
Yeah.
I mean, if you know that you have to deal with that, why would you do it? And that's what I say. Fred should, is it perfect? No, but is it as bad as it made to believe? No. So it's a competition. I mean, all the other ones are very strong. At least wait until next year when a complete new regulation comes. Where, I mean, there is no, if they get it wrong, then. Obviously, you can say, Fred, you didn't do a good job, but all what he had got there now is, he's responsible. He's since two years there. You need to take your responsibilities, but it's a competition. You cannot assume that if you haven't won, when was the last time? 20.
They won what? A race or a championship?
Championship.
2008, they won. 2008, They won the constructors.
Correct.
2007, they won the constructors and the drivers, but they really shouldn't have won the constructors. Because it should have been McLaren.
Guenther's just saying he wants more money because there is a number where your ass is over. There's got to be a number, right?
Of course. Yeah.
The good I was told when I moved to America, a good saying is everything is for sale. Depends on the money,
Yeah.
That's right.
Okay.
It's
the
capitalism.
point remains,
capitalism.
I guess, okay, so if Fred is the scapegoat, then the real question with Ferrari is what will it take? What does need to change?
Yes.
In order for them to be back at the top of the mountain.
If I would know that, John Elkann would pay me a lot more money than Matt just offered, to sort it out, I can tell you that. I don't know. I mean, but there is no magic to it. There is no magic. It's just hard work. Continue to do the best. Try to get the best people in. And to get the best people, consistent is very important. Because anybody is in a good job, in a good team, why would he go somewhere where he doesn't know how long he can stay?
Well, then here's my question. Also, then what has McLaren done right that Ferrari has not done right? I mean, we can look at this thing. McLaren a few years ago was nowhere. Everyone thought there's
also
no way.
There, yeah, also
and,
there.
And
there
now
is not...
look at them. They're the
bell of the ball. Yeah,
they're one everyone's chasing. What have they done that Ferrari can't seem to do?
There is no magic. Pardon?
They're in England. That helps.
You think that's a factor?
But there is that's a factor. But there's no magic to it. I think what Zach has done, he has changed people, but always in a good way. You can change people in a good way. If it doesn't work, it normally doesn't work for two parties. But you don't have to fight about it. You don't have to humiliate people. And I'm not saying that Ferrari humiliates people, but the pressure which is coming now, for example, from the press, doesn't help anybody to get better. That's what I'm saying. And at McLaren, I mean, they had a lot of pressure at a certain stage, and the owners of McLaren let Zach work through it. He changed people, he moved on, he built up a solid base. He built up a solid base also commercially, everything, and he worked hard for it. And obviously, you need some luck as well. Right place, right time with the right people. But once you start to get the good people in, other good people follow as well.
Is it hard? Well, you just turned down $4 or $5 million to go to Ferrari. So I guess my question is, you just turned down $4 or $5 million from John Elkann to go to be the team principal of Ferrari. Probably live out a Italian dream, and you're Italian. I guess my question is. Are they getting a lot of no? I mean, Adrian Newey didn't want to go there, right? They probably threw the kitchen sink. They probably threw him more than $4 or $5 million to go there, and he didn't want to go. I mean, back in the day, what caused them to be great is they got John Todd and Luca Montezemolo got John Todd in there. John Todd got in Michael. He got in Rory Byrne. He got in Ross. He was able to grab a bunch of people from England and bring them over. And it got so bad finding talent there that they used to have I read they used to actually have a design office in England because they just couldn't fucking get people to come to Italy. So do you think that that there's a hesitancy to even get talent? Like, you know, the best Italian guy is Andrea Stella, and he's in England. He's with McLaren. He's not even at Ferrari.
And he was there. I mean, Andrea Stella comes. Yeah, he was there. So I don't know what the reason is, but it is not easy but Formula One from then days has changed a lot as well. You know, with the budget cap, you cannot pay people whatever you need to pay them to move because. Can you imagine you're working in England, get to this scenario, you're having a good job with a good team, you're well paid, you go to Italy, you're not getting this much more because in the budget cap, and you can have 3 people outside of the budget cap, but you need a good people, and then this person needs to move to Italy, which, you know, maybe the family doesn't want to do it, you know, Brexit didn't make it easier for anything, you know, so it's a lot of negatives in there, which has just changed over times. Maybe 20 years ago, it was a much easier decision, you know. I moved there. If I don't like it, I go back. Yeah, but if somebody moves there, spends a lot of money, a lot of energy, and then after 3 years he loses his job because they don't win the World Championship, why would he move in the first place if he has got a good job? It's very simple.
Guenther Steiner is, you guys heard it here first. Guenther Steiner thinks Ferrari should move to England. They should open their factory in England. Correct? That's what you're saying,
I didn't
right?
say that. I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
But people do talk about how that factory, the way it's laid out, it's not very modern. That everything is sort of like they have to add pieces. Where like a new factory like Aston Martin, they can start from scratch and build everything in this new modern way.
I would say the Ferrari factory is pretty state of the art as well. I mean, you know, yeah. I mean, you always can do things better because you live and learn. But it's new. It's good. I mean, I don't think that is the issue there. The factory, that is not the issue because of. But again, I say it's not a disaster. It's this last little bit missing in the moment, and you need a little bit of luck to achieve that little bit, because otherwise, you know, they are so close. And a race ago, they were second in the World Championship. I mean, I wish I would have ever been second, you know.
Yes, of course. But, you know, different expectations for different people. All right, let's go to our favorite segment, Gas or Break.
Kimi will get a win this season.
Break. As much as I respect him and like him, because the cars are so close together, if a Mercedes will win, I think it's still George will have the experience and will do it. I mean, if you would have asked Gas or Break next year to win a race, I would say yes. But this year, I think it's a little bit too early, because the Mercedes, the first time that it had the form to win a race, you know. So that's my reasoning.
I'm going Gas. I think, you know, you already put it on pole. He's got the race pace. I think that this Mercedes might have turned the corner. And while I think George Russell will be there majority of the times that car is in a position to win, I think Antonelli is going to steal one. He's going to steal one. And I have to disagree with Guenther. You know, when he zigs, I zag.
I'm going Break as well. Let's ease it up. George Russell, I rate as a top talent in this game. And I think with the McLarens, Max Verstappen, it's going to be a tough sell this year. Next year, if they have that dominant car, I see him winning a couple, but I still see George Russell dominating in 2026 as well. Next prompt.
George Russell is the second best driver on the grid.
Break. There is a lot of second best drivers on the grid, you know.
That's not how rankings work, Guenther.
Yeah, you can be equal. You can have the same time, There is one which puts the pole position down, and then who is getting there first is getting the next position. But they can equal the time. So that's how it works. Because I think
who would you have
there is a
above
group
him?
of people.
Okay, or
above
with
him is Max. I mean, above
Yeah,
him
No,
is
but
Max.
second best. Who would be second?
Who's in
best?
that class with him?
Leclerc, Oscar, Lando. Obviously, Lando without mistakes.
Well, that's hey, Guenther, that's not Lando. Sorry.
So if we take him out, yeah. I just preached before how many mistakes he makes, and now I put him in the same class. So I need to make my
Lando without
my
mistakes
mind
is
up.
like my mom with balls. It's just it doesn't happen.
It's not going to happen more.
Right.
And another one, Albon, I put in there. Sainz as well. They're all there.
Wow.
Yeah, there's quite
All
a
these
few.
guys are
yeah.
equal, you think,
Wow.
Guenther?
Yeah, they just depends who is in the what car. They are very good, all of them. Yeah, there's a group of very good people. There's just the outstanding guy, which is Max.
I don't know. Leclerc's been making some mistakes. He's on his day.
Yeah, he's hanging
as
out
good as-
too much with Lando, I guess. So.
Yeah.
Matt?
I would say gas. This year, gas. I would say.
Hey, he had one
is-
good race. He won one race.
But he's
No,
always
he's
on the podium. Whenever he's always there. He's been very consistent.
Sniffing
He's
around,
made
yeah.
zero mistakes this year, from my recollection. Oscar, I would put just below him, just because he got his pocket picked in Imola, and he had a very unfortunate error in Australia. But in terms of just like every week showing up, he's been the best this season.
I'm going full gas. I am bullish on George Russell. I think that he is stepping into his role as the leader of this team. Let's not forget that in his 3 years with Lewis Hamilton, he beat Lewis Hamilton in the points 2 of those 3 years.
He beat the shit out of him, yeah.
I mean, Lewis beat the shit out of him one of those years, so the point in the total of the 3 years was more even. But, I think that George Russell has been overlooked time and time again in this series. And I think that this year we're seeing the top talent that he is, the prospect that he was. And I think that right now I really rate him as the second best driver, Verstappen, and then right below him, George Russell. I think he's overlooked, baby.
I think Verstappen is same opinion as you. That's why we drove into him in Barcelona.
I
He
think
doesn't like
Verstappen
that.
is threatened. I mean, who can get under Verstappen's skin? It's only George Russell. And I know that they're very different personality-wise. But if he was, not a threat to him in terms of pace and in terms of this, standings in this league, I don't think that Max Verstappen would give two shits.
But I will say this. I think we've talked about this a lot. I think we were giving Lando this type of love back in the day when Lando wasn't competing for a championship, when he didn't have the car. Everyone was talking about it because Lando would do magic things when he had the third best car, right? Yeah. And I think, what do you think, Guenther, about, are we being too nice to, are we being too hard on Oscar and too nice to George, because Oscar actually has that pressure, whereas George doesn't? George still has almost the luxury of being in the third best car, not having that kind of pressure. So when he does well, he looks great, and when the car isn't there, he can just kind of disappear. Do you think that there's a factor there?
Yes. Yes, absolutely. There's a factor there, because if you have no pressure, everything he does is positive, While
You're right.
With Oscar, it's like, if you are doing everything perfect, that's the minimum you can do, because that's what people expect. As soon as you make a small mistake, you're an idiot already, You're not good enough, you're not the best, and all that stuff. So it's a little bit...
we've seen mistake. We've seen that George can be mistake.
Yes.
We have seen
just not
that.
this year.
But he got better.
This year he's been...
Yeah. Very
this year
good,
he's been great. I feel like he's stepping into a new role. Next prompt.
Aston Martin is faster than Williams now.
Gas, they were in Canada. Going forward, because it's so close, but in Canada and in Barcelona, they were better, yeah?
What do you attribute that to?
I think just developments. I think they found out a little bit where because they couldn't get worse from the beginning of the season, So it's one of these things. They just found something on the car. They worked, and obviously having a guy like Adrian around is also it's pretty helpful, even if he says he doesn't work on the car, but he just tries to say, hey, guys, you want to see this when you go to the wind tunnel and not that, So it's a good, he can give you good direction where to go to. That's my opinion.
I'm going brake.
Well,
I'm going to go brake because I think Fernando Alonso is faster than Williams. But that's not really a cohesive team at the moment.
Correct.
And then for I think they're kind of running a one-car operation. So in terms of the constructors, I still think Williams has a good grip on the championship.
Yeah, I'm going brake as well. I've doubted James Vowles in the past, and I won't do it again. Much like you with Lando Norris last year, Guenther, I'm feeling burned by my distrust of James Vowles. I think he'll figure it out. But, I'm not sure. It's interesting, the Adrian Newey of it all, because a couple weeks ago, he finally showed up at the paddock, and now all of a sudden they have pace. Correlation does not necessarily mean causation, but, it's interesting there. I think it's a little bit more of a flash in the pan. I think Canada is a little bit more of an outlier. Next prompt. Vegas, this episode is brought to you by True Classic. At True Classic, the mission goes beyond fit and fabric. It's about helping guys show up with confidence and purpose. Their gear fits right, feels amazing, and is priced so guys everywhere can step into confidence without stepping out of their budget. We over here at Vankah Hours, we love our True Classic tees. We were just in Canada, and you were rocking your True Classic, weren't you?
Yeah, I was rocking it. I was filling it out. I was feeling ripped on that trip.
Yeah.
I was like, wow, I haven't been going to the gym in the past week, but I feel like I have.
That's right, because with True Classic, you can feel like you're going to the gym even when you're not, because it hugs guys in all the right places. They're built for the masculine frame, baby, which, we're filled with over here at Vankah Hours. We've been wearing True Classic for a while now, and you can see the difference the moment that you throw one on, tailored where you want it, relaxed where you need it, no bunching, no stiff fabric, no BS, just clean, effortless fits that actually work in real life. Forget overpriced designer brands, ditch the disposable fast fashion. True Classic is built for comfort, built to last, and built to give back. You can grab yours at Target, Costco, or head to trueclassic.com/Vankah, Vankah, and get hooked up today.
McLaren will not finish 1-2 in the Drivers' Championship.
Break. They will finish 1-2 still. They've got too much advantage here.
I'm going gas. I think you guys have forgotten about a little guy named Max fucking Verstappen. I think he's just relentless, and I still think he's got an outside shot at this championship. But now he's got these penalty things to worry about. I'm slotting him in P2. I think he's nicking P2 off one of these guys. At this point, Lando.
One of these guys.
Yeah,
and the way Lando's
One?
going. Come on. Lando might not even be good for second the rate he's going.
You know what you're talking.
Gas.
Anyway.
I'm going brake, because I think that Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri will be fighting until the end of this championship. Call me crazy, call me Delulu, call me Lando coping. I think we're all writing him off too soon. I think the McLaren advantage has not necessarily gone anywhere. Canada's an outlier. Lando Norris and Oscar Piastri will come down to the last couple of races anyway. 1-2 in the championship at the end of the year. Next prompt.
Hülkenberg should be on a top team.
Gas. I'm saying it since a long time. He should have been a top team when he was young, but he always took the decision not to be in a top team, or when he changed to a top team, the team tanked normally. So, his choices were as good as he is as a driver, as bad he's in choosing where he's going,
Yeah, so I'm going full gas. I think he's always showing out on good teams, on bad teams. He's showing out on bad teams. I think he had that unfortunate season with Daniel Ricciardo. I don't know what that was about. But now Daniel Ricciardo's out of the sport, and Nico Hülkenberg is going strong, and he's shown himself to be very resilient, very adaptable. And I think I see the same talent that you saw when he was sitting on his ass at Aston Martin, and I'm going full gas.
I'm going gas as well. Here's a crazy thought, Red Bull. Let's trade. Yuki Tsunoda goes to stake. Hülkenberg goes into that second Red Bull seat. Yuki Tsunoda gets to stay in the sport, which we know we all want. And maybe someone can figure out how to drive that second Red Bull car. Maybe that guy is Nico Hülkenberg. How about that?
You need to speak with Dr. Marco. You're the man. You're the man.
I wonder if, because there is the talk about Max leaving, right? Because it seems like when you look at the top teams, where could Nico Hülkenberg actually go?
Red Bull.
Feels like the option is Red Bull. If Max leaves, do you think that maybe there's a world where they throw Nico Hülkenberg into that? He's been having unbelievable performances. Maybe he finally gets his shot.
Yeah, difficult to predict that one.
As a second driver, not as a lead driver.
Yeah, but that's better than to be at stake, the lead driver,
No, I'm saying Red Bull would offer him a second seat, but not the first seat, probably.
Yeah, they would probably swap whoever Max went to the team for. They would probably go. Max goes to Mercedes, and George comes to Red Bull.
On the other side, Nico's got a contract with Audi, which is not for 1 year, which is a few years. So I don't think he can get out of his contract anyway, and he's 37 now or something like this. So, he's got another, how many years left?
Yeah. It's a shame. It's a shame.
Yeah.
He's a guy who never really got his chance in the league.
What do you Sauber's turning it around. What do you attribute? You think this Sauber is legit now?
It looks like, Barcelona and here, since they put the upgrade on, the race pace is good. The most amazing thing is the race pace. I think the qualifying, they still need to work a little bit on it, but the race pace was good, So I think they are now, they are all so close, these teams now. Williams, Sauber, Aston Martin, Haas, they're all very close together, except I think the Alpine is still behind, but all the other ones are there.
It's looking like Racing Bulls and Alpine are going to be at the bottom now, and that maybe it's
I think Racing Bulls was an out. What Racing Bulls, the strategy, I'm not agreeing with their strategies all the time, because again, they were starting good, but they came in pretty early, and obviously, all the other ones at least split the strategy to do something. And they always struggle in the race with the strategy. They're very good in qualifying. And if in the race there is a strategy which is obvious, because there is only one-stopper, they're normally pretty good. But as soon as it starts to be that you can have different picks of strategy, they pick the wrong one.
And why do you? And now the strategies are so exciting, and it's large part to Pirelli.
That's right. Yeah, maybe before, we want to talk a little bit about Pirelli, Guenther, before we get to Rockstar Wanker and our predictions for the next race. We had a great time in Pirelli. You've, introduced us to the whole team over there. Mario, head honcho over there, giving out the podium at the race. I got this beautiful Pirelli hat. Can you talk about when you first kind of met Mario, met the team over at Pirelli? What do they mean to you, Guenther?
They are now my place to go, in Formula One, because I have no home anymore. So Pirelli is my home, It's like,
that's right.
The food is good, the people is nice. What more you want, So I can sit there, waiting for my next thing to do during the weekend. So, no, I actually met Mario. I know Pirelli a long time in motorsport, but I always was with the rally people. And Mario, already at that time, he was, I think, I don't know which part he was managing, but he was not director of motorsport. And then when I came back to Formula One for Haas, Mario was there. And in the beginning, as humans, we got on pretty well, but I gave Mario some shit. You have no idea,
For what? What did you give him shit for?
Yeah, guess what? For the tires. Because obviously, if the car is shit, you have to blame somebody, and it's the tires, So he reminded me a few times, everybody else can work the tires, Obviously.
Seems like Mercedes is having a fine time with the tires, Guenther. Maybe it's you.
Yeah, maybe I'm helping. Yeah, no, I'm not.
Well, they've got a pretty tough and almost thankless job, don't they? It's like when the tires degrade too fast, everyone gets mad at them. When the tires are too strong, everyone gets mad at them. At the end of the day, they talk about Fred Vasseur being a scapegoat. First, you just said it yourself. They'll always blame the tires, but Mario and Pirelli find a way to make these tires
No,
perfection every week.
In the end, the tires are a lot because I think sometimes, about 10 years ago, the problem was because the gap between the fastest and the slowest car was so big to make a tire that both could use, that the fastest car doesn't overheat them and the slowest still could warm them up, was not easy to find. But obviously Pirelli got better and the cars got closer together, which helps as well performance-wise. But it's, as you say, it's a task because if the drivers, or if it is demanded, there need to be degradation. What do the drivers do? They manage the tires. Then they say, oh, this is not good because I'm just doing management of the tires. Yeah, but that is what you ask us to do, a tire which degrades. And, there's no magic in it, it's a tire which is made out of rubber, So, but in the end, I think they didn't have any issues. Compared with years ago, there is a lot less complaint. I think the guy which complains most about them is George Russell. But now he won, so he will be happy.
Yes.
That is what we do, huh? When we win, we are happy.
That's right. Winning.
But how was the pasta? How was your food at Pirelli?
Delicious.
Exactly. So
delicious.
Who cares about the tires?
Yes.
It's that Italian. It's
who doesn't love pasta at 11 a.m.?
That's right. A man named Davide gave me this hat. I mean, what more could you ask for? So huge thanks to Pirelli for having us and treating us like familia. We felt right at home. Okay, Guenther, we need your Rockstar and Wanker for Canada. Who's your Rockstar? George
Russell. Oh, yeah, George Russell and Mercedes. I mean, you have to. I mean, he got on pole with medium tires. The team, they made the right decision. Then he won the race in a very nice fashion. There is no doubt about that one. Who is the one?
And coming off of a kind of chaotic week with Max Verstappen breathing down his neck.
Yeah, running
for him
into
to hold that line, hold that position, have the great start that he did. Pretty good.
Perfect execution.
That's right. All right, who's your Wanker for Canada?
Who is my Wanker? Who is the
I think this is like a slam dunk, right? It's your new second driver for McLaren.
Lando Norris. Yeah. Jesus Christ. I mean, I wasn't on it, Whoa.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, he messed that Canada up completely. He deserves that,
Yeah.
And I think if he listens to us, out of this he gets to wake up cold and he gets stronger.
Yes. You're welcome, Lando, for this tough love.
Yeah, that's right. That is absolutely right. All right, Guenther, we're going to do a new section, new segment.
Dear Guenther.
Dear Guenther. People can write in with life advice that you want from the man, the myth, the legend.
And they want this advice from you, so don't try to weasel out of it. They want to hear it. Don't be like, who am I? They want to hear it from you.
Right.
They're asking you for the advice.
Okay. This is from... A name is redacted, and you'll see why. What's the best way to end a long-distance relationship? He's a 7-hour plane ride away.
It's no laughing matter, Guenther. The people's lives are at
Someone's life on the line here. They want to end this relationship. Am I going to fly 7 hours in order to break up with this guy, or am I going to do it over the phone? How would you do it, Guenther?
Zoom call. Zoom, Teams, whatever, video call, yeah. WhatsApp call, whatever, WhatsApp video call.
What would you say? How do you break it to them?
Yeah, I don't know why this person want to break up with the other one. I don't know about. There could be a million reasons. I mean, how should? Yeah,
okay.
Would you just be direct, or would you couch it with "you're amazing," blah blah blah, or would you just say, "Hey, this doesn't work"?
Yeah, I would be like, "Yeah, it is amazing, but no."
Yeah,
it doesn't seem to be. It doesn't seem to be working. Would it not be better for both of you? Yeah, no. Would it not be better for both of us because you're not happy, I'm not happy, and so on?
Or Guenther, what do you think about this idea? You just kind of start not replying to them, acting like an asshole, and then they break up with you.
But then you're an asshole.
Saves you a plane trip.
You quiet quit. You quiet quit the relationship.
Yeah, but that's what you call it cheap. Not cheap. Yeah, that is very. It's not
okay.
standing up
You
for
got
it.
to own your stuff.
You gotta own your-
Don't be passive aggressive.
Okay.
Yeah, exactly, yeah.
Just be straightforward. That's the Guenther Steiner
Straightforward,
way.
yeah.
Okay, this is from Maddie Coilet Lowe. I'm a Ferrari fan, and I don't know how much longer I can take it. How do I push through?
Believe in the future. It will be bright red. Will be Ferrari red,
How long is that future? How long in the future do they need to believe? Yeah. If you're just listening on audio, he put his hands to his brow like a sailor
Looking for dry land.
looking for
How old
land.
is? Do we know how old?
We don't know how old this person is. No.
Okay, yeah.
If she's above 25, is she already too old?
Getting on the limit.
Yeah. Okay, this is from Narcoletti CA. How do I move on from a guy who ghosted me?
Forget him.
What
if he
she's
ghosted
having
you,
trouble-
ghost him, yeah.
Yeah, ghost him back.
Yeah, ghost him back. That's it.
That's like me, Guenther, telling you to forget about pink elephants, to not think about pink elephants. Then you think it's hard to do. It's hard to forget about something that's.
What's a tactic to forget about them? What would you focus on work? You take a trip?
But there's so many other things to do, to focus on, There's so many other good things in life. Why focus on the bad ones which somebody ghosts you?
Right. Are you getting right on the dating apps? What are you doing?
I don't know about dating apps. I mean, I'm married since
It's been a while.
since ever. Yeah, it's been a while.
Did you ever go through a bad breakup, Guenther? You ever get ghosted?
No.
What did you break up with people, or did you break some hearts along your journey?
It's so long time ago. I don't even remember.
No, that's
I think
bullshit.
that there's some ladies strewn about the larger continental Europe who are still thinking about Guenther Steiner. If I had to put some money on it,
Or has Guenther had many heartbreaks and he's literally forgotten about it? He doesn't remember.
He moves on to the next until he found his queen, which he did, as we all know. Okay, Guenther. Austria is coming up next. Your home race.
One of my home races.
One of your home races. You're on that Italian-Austrian border. You straddle the line. What do you think's happening? Give me your predictions for the Austrian GP.
It's so hard now. So, wow. Because I normally get the last ones I got completely wrong all the time. Who would have expected a Mercedes to be in Canada?
You did say that Mercedes. I think you said George Russell would be third, so you did have him.
Yeah,
but you
but
didn't
not
think that Max
winning it.
Verstappen.
Yeah.
So in terms of you didn't have Max Verstappen, we did. You did have George Russell, which we didn't. So I think we
we
we're
said
even.
we keep scoring now. Yeah,
We're gonna keep scoring. We'll get you the
yeah.
scores next week, but we're keeping the tally.
Yeah, you're keeping a tally. Yeah. So who I say? Oscar Piastri, George Russell, Charles Leclerc.
Wow, 3 different teams on the
I
podium.
mix it up, yeah. We need to mix it up here because everything is possible in the moment.
What's the weather going to be like in Austria this time of year?
I should be. Normally it's nice, but I didn't look at the forecast what it will be, but it should be good.
Mountains of snow.
Looks like it might be still cool. Cool.
Yeah, no, but
Not
it's
too
a heat
hot.
wave. It's a heat wave in the moment in Europe. Right at the moment,
Looking at
Not
upper,
according to his iPhone.
I'm looking at Upper Austria, and it's looking like it's still going
It's
to be
not
like.
Upper Austria. It's Styria. I mean,
How is it going to be that much different? How big are the Europe? Is the size of New Jersey. Styria 70. It's 64.
no, it's. I mean, now I need-
75. Not
now I
too
need
hot.
to-
Not crazy hot is the point.
but it's not cold. It's 30 degrees, 30 C. I mean, on Thursday before the race, it's raining and 29, so it will be warm. Not stupid hot, you're right, yeah. Not stupidly hot, but pretty warm.
That should
All right,
go well for Mercedes.
I'm saying Oscar, Lando, Max.
wow.
Ooh.
You're going full McLaren now, you know.
I am saying George Russell wins again. Oscar, Lando.
Oh, we have the rankings here, by the way.
Got the rankings. Oh, my God. Okay, so this is, you get 1 point if someone was on the podium and 2 points if they are on the podium in the correct spot. Currently, the rankings are, Guenther, you have 18 points. Matt has 16 points. And I have 11 points. You know what? Because I'm following Lando Norris into the sea.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
But we'll see. Hey, we got a lot of races left.
A lot of
season left. Just like Lando Norris, I'm coming from behind, baby. That does it for Vankah Hours. Vankahs, we love you. We've got our interview with Valtteri Bottas coming out next week. We had a great time chatting with him. We got some talk about his future with Cadillac. We've got our merch out. Look at that. Beautiful. Get your Guenther Steiner merch at lifeofsteiner.com. We have a new release coming soon. Until next time, Vankahs.
Goodbye, Vankahs.
Goodbye, Vankahs.
Damn, I'm a boss. I'm a red flag heavy hitter. I'm a mailman, baby. I deliver. I got some news for you rock stars. All you Vankahs too. I hear you knocking, cat blocking. Do what you got to do, but don't
Don't fuck Spurs.